Resumed.
Let me go. Click. I think this is too. To the river bend. Take me down to the firing end. Wash the poison from off my skin. And show me how to be whole again. Fire me up on a silver wave. Pass it backwards. Pour me up and I'll just glow. And drop me down to the dream below. Till I'm old, you'll cry. And then it's for you to see. For you to see. Neon and a blinding dream. through the secrets that I have seen. Wash sorrow from off my skin. Show me how to be holy. Come on. Hardly anything there for you to see.
Lap 1. Lap pace 13 minutes 8 seconds. 1 mile. Heart rate 137.
Cause I'm only a cry in this cup full of glass. Hardly anything else I need to be. Cause I'm only a cry full of glass. Hardly anything. Open up, ask me any questions. Go ahead of me. To your needs, we ain't the problem, we ain't the poison. Whoa. Hold your eyes and hands, you got to leave it. Hold it. The sun's fire in the window. Want it with violence. Say no defiance. With the silence. I'll play out the silence. The violence. Remember this is what you asked for. I'm on the edge and I'm not alone. Remember this is what you asked for. I'm on the edge and I'm not alone. Remember this is what you asked for. Edge and I'm not alone. Remember this is what you asked for. Asked for.
Workout paused. Workout resumed.
Laying in my paper tin, running on. You know, I'm having to when you run, it's just you and your thoughts. And the biggest thing that holds you back from being able to run is your emotional disposition. Whatever you're ignoring or avoiding or not trying to think about when you start jogging or running, your brain is focused on accomplishing the objective, which is running. The primitive mind assumes you're being chased. Why else would you be running? There's only two reasons why human beings should be running. You're either running from food, okay, three reasons. The first and most fundamental reason, which is why running is so healthy, is that you're playing. If you're playing, you're content with life, everything's going good, you're happy, and you're not stressed, you're not worried, there's no issues, right? Kids play, they run around all day until they get exhausted because the body has to move, and then they go to sleep. The second reason is the most essential reason, because you're looking for something to eat. You're running to catch something and kill it so you can prosper for it. Your goal is to obtain whatever it is that you have your sights set on. And if you can just get it, your life will be better, because your brain and your body is too primitive and too stupid to understand what it is that you intend. The last thing and the most important thing when it comes to stress relief from running above any other exercise is you're running for your life. Something bigger than you and stronger than you is trying to eat you. And the only thing you can do is run like your life depends on it, because your life depends on it. And the natural limitations that your body has put on itself, and the natural limitations that your mind has put on your body, so that you can't break it because we're retarded, is overcome. Because what's the point in limiting yourself if you die? So running is the best stress test your body has to understand exactly what you need to do in nature to survive. Because if you're running, there's got to be a reason. And the brain and the mind, the body, the physical brain and the body are not comparable enough or intelligent enough to reason out, well, drill sergeant wants me to make a 7-minute 30, and if I don't, I'm gonna get chaptered. And if I get chaptered, then I can't afford to eat. If I can't afford to eat, then I'm gonna wind up on the streets hungry, then I'm gonna get arrested. And like all these racing thoughts, this existential dread, which is the foundation of my 2 cents, is why you run. The biggest adversity in my life was child support. I started having to pay child support when I was 19 because my parents raised me with the knowledge of everything that existed except for child support. Child support was something that was new, and without any information about it, there was no way to know. So right now, my wife has been extremely irresponsible and disrespectful. People, I'm not a Christian. I'm not. I've never been a Christian because I see how Christians move in the world. I've sat in history class. I was taught everything I needed to know. I was told that for 300 years, African Americans were slaves, and the only thing they were allowed to read was the Bible. And it says a lot when you say that the only thing that slaves are not human, not intelligent, not capable of common sense, right? You don't educate them to make them more human, right? White people take dogs off the street into their homes and treat them like animals. Treat them like members of the family, extended members of the family. And then simultaneously, we'll go slaughter a cow or a pig for food, right? So when someone like that says this slave is not capable of higher intelligence, so there's no reason to try to educate them. There's no reason to try to convince them or allow them to believe that they have what it takes to stand on two and be an actual human being. You have to be able to reason with the brain your fucking God gave you that there's something wrong with this book that was given to slaves when they're not competent enough to function at the human level. When you have 300 years of slavery, 300 years, 3 centuries of oppression, and you accept that 2,000 years ago, God came down in the flesh as a human being and saved humanity from the horrors and the atrocities of the world. And 1,700 years after his death, the same people that are teaching you this are going around the world and murdering you, killing you in front of your wives and your daughters, oppressing your wives and daughters, forcing them to submit to the idea of God to serve mankind. So I don't have a problem with acknowledging I don't fucking care about Christianity. I don't give a damn. Literally every aspect of my life that is horrible comes from the disillusion that is created by people of faith that want to sit around and fucking suffer and look at me like there's something wrong with me because I'm intelligent enough to know I don't have to suffer. The conflict that I'm having with my wife right fucking now is the same thing. I've done everything that I'm supposed to do to try my hardest to be a husband. And the only thing she can do is keep hitting me with stereotypes that I am not guilty of. I've never been black. I've never been a black person. I don't believe in that shit. I am an oppressed member and a refugee in a nation that I was born into. And I live every day of my life in that depressed situation. The quality of my life is no different than the Mexicans coming across the border, except they get representation. That's the only difference. I'm 42 years old. I have to work 7 days a week because we know statistically that the African American male makes about 20% less on average than the Caucasian male. We know for a fact that African American women statistically make more money than Caucasian women. And with all of this intelligence, which is the reason why I started my 2 cents when I was in my early 20s, with all this intelligence, we continue to allow ourselves to be manipulated and compliant to a system that doesn't fucking care about us. And the reason why I'm so annoyed and frustrated right now is because I have to deal with a woman, my wife, that wants me to submit to a man. And it is not in a man's nature to submit to other men. We shake hands and acknowledge the fact that we will fuck each other up. That's what men do. And it's frustrating and exhausting to have to be something other than what the fuck we are. And I'm sick of that shit. I'm so fucking fed up with dealing with this dumbass world and these fucking retarded ass people every fucking goddamn day. It's fucking infuriating to have to constantly
Lap 2.
operate
15
below my
minutes, 4
intelligence
seconds.
level
Total
and be
28
surrounded by
minutes,
people that
6
want to
seconds.
drag me down with
2
them
miles.
like I
Heart
am
rate
the problem.
124.
And you know why they do it? It's not their fault. It's because from a child, we were raised that we were inherently sinful and that nothing that we do will ever be good enough in the eyes of a goddamn white man. Open your eyes and acknowledge the fact that the ideological image of Jesus Christ does not look like an African. And understanding all of the scientific and philosophical and metaphysical principles that was put into European religion was stolen from African culture and manipulated and twisted so that they could make all of themselves the gods of this world. And the only reason they can get away with it is because the African people and the Chinese people on this planet have more humanity than they do. At the political level, Africans and Asians operate with more humanity than Europeans. That's the only reason why they're able to do what they do. That's the reason why the only people on this planet that has ever deliberately and knowingly destroyed the atomic structure of nature are Europeans. And they can tell you that the reason why they did that is for scientific achievement and scientific endeavor. But you need to realize that if you get a car, you fill it with dynamite, you blow the car up, you look at the piece of the car, and somehow you manage to determine that it's a combustion engine that is used to drive human beings around the world, is the equivalent of an atom smasher. That's the equivalent. The level of arrogance
Halfway
and
point reached.
just flat out lack of respect for nature and natural forces invented the atom smasher. The greatest thing that could ever be done to humanity was the use of a nuclear bomb to wipe out humanity. Europeans are the only people on this planet that knowingly and deliberately sat down and said, I want to release the energy of the atomic nucleus of atoms strictly to blow up other people. The only reason they did it was to blow up other people. The same intelligence that was put in the labs of the Manhattan Project to invent a nuclear weapon could not come up with a peaceful resolution for the Chinese government because men don't submit to other men. It doesn't happen in nature. We come to a mutual understanding, and Europeans have accepted and decided that they are the gods of this planet. They are the kings and the lords of the earth, all corners of it, just like they tell you every day in their literature. Every day they tell you. Every time you watch a man on church giving praise to God, he is telling you to serve your white masters, to serve European men on this planet. And the physical evidence, the reason why I started my 2 cents, the physical evidence of what I'm saying, to show that what I'm saying is true, is the quality of their life in relation to the rest of the planet. Why is more than half of the population of the earth living in poverty when there is an abundance of natural resources? How are we overproducing product at the international level and people on this planet are still starving? Because every time you pray to God, every time you pray to God, and the first thing that happens is a white man shows up with food, you thank Jesus for it. But it's easy to be in control of the food when you have all of it. When you've stolen all of the food from everybody else, it's easy to be in control of the food. When you are the reason why half of the population on the planet is starving, it's easy to give them the food so they can thank you like you're a god. And any real God wouldn't do that. Why? What is the function of it? What is the goal? What is the purpose? What is the reason why you can't figure it out is because you can't understand the level of evil that it implies when it comes to what they're doing. You can't understand it. Your brain can't you can't rationalize why. Because you already believe that a God that looks like white people loves you enough to care about you. You accept the fact that nature and natural forces are your enemy. So you align yourself with the image of the thing that is oppressing you. And we have psychological definitions for this stuff. People praise and worship their oppressors. If you're captured and held captive, you submit to your oppressors because we're human animals. So it's not like it's something that is incapable of understanding. You can understand it. You're just too busy trying to get your crumbs from the person holding the bread. And when black men like myself, when we see that, oh, he's got the bread, when we run over there to snatch the bread from him to bring it back to our wives, you know who's the first person to tell us that we're wrong for doing it? Our wives. The same woman that's saying, I'm hungry, I want more food, I need more, give me more. Baby, the food's right there, let me go snatch it. No, don't take it from God. I don't want God's wrath. That's not God. That person right there, that human being that bleeds just like I do, is not God. Nor am I. Neither one of us is God. What he is an oppressor and a terrorist by his own definition and his own language. You listen to the definition of words. You're supposed to comprehend what they imply. And you should be able to use your eyes to observe the behavior of the people around you to see what they're doing. We went into Iraq because they had weapons of mass destruction. When we didn't find any weapons of mass destruction, the government of the United States should have been held accountable. But they're white. They're gods. They don't have to be accountable to anything. We took Saddam Hussein out of his position of empowerment and gave him to his people. Gave him to the terrorists of his country. And judged him like the human that he is. And white people all over this country stood in praise of the good work that was done. Because you had a man trying to take care of his people. And the only reason why there was ever strife was because Europeans brought their ass from Europe all the way into the Middle East and created chaos and disorder. And the evidence for what I'm saying that is true is that as soon as they killed Saddam Hussein, the Middle East collapsed. Because that dictator had to do what he had to do in his own neighborhood to keep his people in line. He knew what needed to be done because he understood that the puppet masters were all of the Europeans, Germans, Russians, Italians, all these third-party people that are giving the people in the Middle East weapons of mass destruction instead of food and bread. The land that they needed to actually use to grow crops and to harvest food was off limits to them in their own neighborhood. You have fertile land right across the goddamn street and you're fucking hungry. It's right goddamn there. And as soon as you plant crops because you get fed the fuck up, as soon as they start growing, a bunch of white ass people with a bunch of permits, right, agents from the Matrix come showing up on your property, you're engaged in illegal activity. By who? Who said that it's illegal for me to grow food? Who? White people. The same fucking God. The same God will come down out of the goddamn sky and go over to your crops, see that they're good, and decimate the fucking earth. And then tell you to go down to human resources and file for supplements from the government. Ask the government for help. And then as soon as you go, ask the government for help, the first thing they want to tell you is, you have no reason to be in the position that you're in, and we're not going to help you. They're saying this to your face, but they're looking at your face. They're looking at you as a non-minority, and they need to keep you in compliance. Because if you don't do what they tell you to do, they're going to put you in a federal prison where they continue to this day to enforce institutional racism. They're going to put you in a federal prison because they refuse to allow you to grow crops across the street in your own neighborhood so that you can provide for yourself. The greatest evil on this planet is when a man has to submit to another man just for the basic things that was put in place by nature itself. Whether there is a God or not, I shouldn't have to beg nobody for shit. That's why I run every 3 fucking days, because I'm able-bodied. If I can do this at the age of 42, there is absolutely no reason why I should have been unemployed for so long when I was younger. Other than the fact that the people on this planet are so busy worshiping white people that if you are not in compliance, you can't play. You can't be a part of a functioning system if you're not willing to invest in your own self-destruction. And it's infuriating every goddamn day to have to come out here. You know why I got married? Because I want a wife. I want kids. I want a family. I seen the happiness and the joy that it brought my father. My father spent most of his time drunk and high. And anytime that he was sober and we were around him, he was far more content in life than he was when he was high and intoxicated. The greatest joy he ever experienced in life was being a father. And he was good at it, in spite of a fucked up ass system. That's why I'm the man that I am today. Because I was raised to be this person. I was groomed and nurtured and taught how to function in a fucked up ass world. So I went out and got a woman pregnant because that's just normal ass shit. Me and my ex were engaged to be married, living that Christian ass dream. The whole time, she already had it in her head that she was just gonna get pregnant by this nigger and collect child support. The whole fucking relationship was built on that. And there was no way for me to know because my parents didn't raise me to be a suspicious person. There was absolutely no reason for me to believe that it was anything other than what it was. That's not a failing on my fault, my behalf. If you got a fucked up ass personality, that's your problem. That's your burden. But institutional racism made it so that she didn't have to ask me for resources for my child. So she didn't have to humble herself and submit to the natural forces of nature. When you realize that, oh, I have this child that I can't take care of. I need the father's help. When we run around other men with a child that doesn't look like those men and ask them for help, the first thing they say is, well, where's your husband? Where is the person that made that child with you? You need to go ask him for help because that's his child. But society has made child support so these women don't have to do that no more. So now they have to absolutely not be accountable for nothing. And that's the reason why I'm frustrated. More than anything, I'm frustrated because I don't understand why since the day that I started dating my wife and the day that I have done, to this date, I have done nothing but try my hardest to be a husband to her. And the only thing she can do is be a fucking bitch. And I say it with a straight face because the answer to the question is the answer. It doesn't have to be anything other than what it is. Turning your head and pretending like you don't see reality doesn't change reality. It only makes it worse because you give consent. If somebody is doing shit to you and you don't like it and you don't say nothing to them, you're giving your consent to be bullied. You're giving your consent to be treated a certain way. That's why I took my ass to the police station and said, stop fucking harassing me because I'm a veteran from the United States Army. I put up with enough shit in the Army. I will not be in compliance with you riding down the goddamn street harassing me because of the color of my skin. Because if you want to take me out, just do it right now because I don't have time for this shit anymore. And I don't know what else to do. I don't know what I'm supposed to do when every time my wife doesn't get what she wants to turn into a bitch and start whining and complaining in the chat, in the Facebook Messenger, saying all these disrespectful things, starting to commit suicide, arguing with me, fighting with me, whining and because I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. If I gave you $3,000 in 5 months, would you bitch and complain that I'm not doing enough? How? Make it make sense. You get out of the Army, you're home for less than 5 weeks, and you get an apartment. Would you complain that your fiance left the Army, got a job, and had an apartment in 5 weeks? No, you wouldn't. Would you go out of your way to betray somebody's trust that has invested 100% emotionally into you so that you can keep getting more? There's a limit to how much I have. There is a limit to how much I have. And when you ask for 110%, there's no fucking such thing as 110%. I've got 5 apples. I can't give you 7. I've got 0. I can't give you 1. That's not how life works. Fundamental principles of my 2 cents. Simple ass shit. But what is she gonna do? She's gonna keep bitching and complaining in the chat. She's gonna keep whining. And then in 3 or 4 years, she's gonna take me to court so that she can take half of everything I got, because the system cares more about women than do about me. And they're gonna open my Facebook Messenger and see all of these decades of shit that I've done to her and use that shit against me. Use it against me, the man that only got married because it's the highest quality of life that you can obtain in life. That's how I choose. The definition of why I believe I exist is to have children and reproduce and be a loving husband and a father. That's my definition. But because of the quality of the life that I have to live and the injustices that I have to endure, I can't have that. I can't fucking have that. There's millions of women all over this goddamn world. And I had to travel all the way to Nigeria just to be fucking played by another one. And I got the dumbest one on the goddamn planet because she won't leave me the fuck alone so I can do what I need to do. She constantly wants more. She constantly wants to complain. She constantly wants to be argumentative. And I don't understand what to do. I don't have the answer to this fucking question as they taught me to say in the army, because I have the fucking answer. I know the answer to the goddamn question. The test was already given to me before I was born. I have the cheat sheet. It's called a conscience. There's no need to study. You're taught right from wrong from the day you're born. You come out your mother's room knowing right from fucking wrong. And if you do something that's wrong, you fucking die. End of the fucking story. Game fucking over. But the system has been designed to make sure that you can do wrong and not fucking die. Live and endure bullshit for your entire life so that somebody else can sit on their goddamn couch and watch TV and bitch and moan and complain about all of the people that they fucking created. Make that shit make sense. Who gives you the right to tell the world that they're fucked up because of the things you have done? Who? Who fucking gives you the right? You did. You fucking did. You went around the world and you proved God didn't fucking exist. What I know as a proof, fundamental proof of my 2 cents, the first fucking proof. Caucasians invented slavery to prove God didn't fucking exist. 300 years of oppression. Somebody finally looked up and said, how many more centuries do we have to treat these humans like fucking inferiors before we understand that the human spirit is absolute and there is no fucking God? That's what the history of slavery is about. That's why they wrote that shit in their books. It has nothing to do with admitting anything. It's acknowledging objectively that human spirit is absolute. We are not animals. They proved that shit scientifically with peer reviews at the international level because they had slavery all over the goddamn planet. So it wasn't just a regional thing, it was a global thing. They proved globally that the African spirit cannot be broken. It cannot be destroyed. So how many more decades will we individually, I don't care about your skin complexion, how many more decades individually are we gonna keep allowing our parents to teach us right from wrong just to have to go function in the system under wrong? If you teach children that they shouldn't do certain things for 18 years of their life and put them in a system that forces them to do all the shit that you taught them not to do for 18 fucking years, and then you wonder why there's so much fucking insanity in the world. Stop teaching us to have moral compasses if you don't want us to have moral compasses. It doesn't make any fucking sense. It makes absolutely no sense. Zero whatsoever. And I get to be the crazy psychopath for just pointing out basic fucking shit. And every goddamn day, people want to try to get me to understand how my capacity to make a mistake. Oh, I went left instead of right. Oh, I tripped. What was this? Because I don't fucking care. I don't really want to be here. I hate working at McDonald's. I don't care if it's a goddamn double cheeseburger because I hate this shit. Oh, see, Paul? See how you forgot the sandwich? Fuck you, because you do the same damn thing I do. So why are you pointing it out? Can I get a McChicken? Already set it up. No, the fuck you didn't. Because you're a human just like me. So shut the fuck up. Listen to your shift manager. Make the sandwich and send it up so I can get this customer out the window and we can get our check. Right? I have to be the one that is crazy and insane and retarded because I'm in compliance with a broken fucking system. I have to constantly challenge every goddamn day for wanting to be a decent human being. My problem in life is I just want to be an honest human being. I just want to get up every day and live my life by the principles that was given to me by my mother and father. And there shouldn't be any opposition because it means I'm not raping, I'm not murdering, I'm not stealing, I'm not killing. Why can't I not do those things? The answer is because white people can't take away my freedom if I stay in compliance with the laws that were put in place by nature. That's the answer. So they create the conditions for you to be out of compliance so they can justify your oppression. And they put your mothers and your sisters as fucking gatekeepers to oppress you and keep you down. And women are too fucking stupid. You're fucking stupid. Those of you that aren't intelligent enough to understand that your ally is the man that you're laying next to and not the guy that you're text messaging because he doesn't fucking care about you. Because if he cared about you, he would be laying next to you. Women are too fucking stupid to understand the way the game works at the international level. And they make our lives more difficult by just not being in the fucking way. I work 2 jobs. I have a steady income. I don't have to pay child support anymore. And all the money I make, I send to my wife because I love her. And the only thing she can do is bitch and complain. The only thing she can do is continue to point out the flaws I made 30 fucking years ago without taking into consideration the conditions of the time. She wasn't fucking there. So how can she know?
Workout resumed.
How can she know what I dealt with? She's never made $5.50 an hour. She's never had to deal with any of the adversities that I've had to deal with. I started working, making $5.50 an hour. When I got on an airplane and went to Washington State to appear in court for child support, my child support was valued at $7.40, which is the federal minimum wage of the state of Washington. I told the judge that I only make $5.50 an hour. His response to me was, get a better job. That was his response. Get a better job. When I finally failed at the adversity of overcoming child support and enlisted to the Army, because I'm nobody's fucking bitch. When I finally enlisted to the Army, the first thing that happened after being unemployed for 6 months, the very first thing that happened was my child support went up. So when I served my first term in the Army, I wanted to get the fuck out. I wanted to leave the goddamn Army. But if I couldn't afford to pay $140 a month in child support, how am I going to pay $430 a month in child support if I leave the Army? So guess what I had to do? Stay in the goddamn institution. Stay in the institution. Because I'm not stupid. Since I know, because all of the elders that look like me are telling me the answer to the goddamn test, that the only thing that society wants me to be is either dead or in jail. And 25% of people that look like me are either dead or in fucking jail. The warrior that I am said, fuck that shit. Fuck it. I spent enough of my life trying my hardest not to have to do things I don't want to do. I will go into the white man's army and shoot at people that look like me to get a goddamn check because nobody wants to be in alliance. Everybody's so busy trying to take care of themselves that the world stagnates. World stagnates. Simple. That's it. And so with all of that knowledge and intelligence and evolution of understanding and comprehending, here I am. I've overcome all of that bullshit. When I was in the Army, I no longer had any issues. I had no adversities. And guess what everybody around me kept doing? All of the fucking black women around me in the Army, all of the leaders over me, All the people that outranked me kept looking at me like there's something wrong with him. I'm gonna figure out what's going. I'm gonna expose him. I know he's hiding something. No, I'm not hiding shit. I'm here because I got to pay child support, and I can't afford to live if I don't pay child support. So I enlisted to pay my child support. Amerson, what's your problem? I have no problem, Sergeant. I know, but what is your problem, Sergeant? I have no problem. Amerson, what is your? I don't have a problem. Amerson, how many times can someone ask you the same question before you lose your shit? How many? For me, it was about 2 years. About 2.5 years. The final straw was when Specialist Johnson put his fucking hands on me and tried to push me into his NCO. That was the final straw. Sergeant First Class Smith, my age, African-American woman, treated me like shit. Constantly went out of her way to try to get me kicked out of the Army. She completely, absolutely stopped my promotions. Completely. Before she joined the Army, every 6 months I was promoting. Every 6 fucking months. Every time my NCO would do some dumb shit to me, I zoomed in, and I don't know how. Well, I'm big now.
Lap 3. 25 minutes 19 seconds. Total 53 minutes 30 seconds. 3 miles. Heart rate 111.
The snow is activating my screen. I want to say something real quick.
Almost there.
Well, I want to continue
You
to
can
say
do
something,
it.
but I want to say something relevant to RunDay. Every day for 3 days, I've been running consistently, keeping to my goals, setting my objectives, and moving toward what I want to do. All my wife does when she doesn't get what she wants from me as fast as she wants it is messages me and tries her hardest to treat me like shit, pay me out to be this horrible husband, horrible person that doesn't love her, doesn't care about her, entertaining this bullshit ass game that was put together by a sister that doesn't fucking care about us. And I want to make it clear that the only reason why I'm walking right now is because my wife is not supporting me. That's the whole point of this message. The whole point of this video is my wife is not supporting me. I have done nothing to her. I've not disrespected her beyond what she deserves as a member in this fucking family. I have done absolutely everything in my power to be the man that I promised her that I would be when I swore my vows to her. And the only thing she's done since before we got fucking married is treating me like shit. I am absolutely convinced that my wife sees me as nothing but a fucking slave. Absolutely convinced that my wife believes that I'm just a fucking nigger. Which is the whole reason why I created this entire goddamn My 2 Cent. The whole point of My 2 Cent was to avoid this shit. And I still wound up in the same position that I spent my entire life not trying to be in. And because women can go out of their way to do and say whatever the fuck they want to do and say without having to be accountable, that's what's happening to me. And the only reason why I'm in this position is because I spent 6 years of my life in the Army and 4 years dealing with bitch-ass black women. So I got used to that shit. I got used to it. When women treat you like shit as a man, you walk away. But when you're in the Army, you can't walk away. And when you go reason with your NCOs and look you in the eyes, when you go to First Sergeant and First Sergeant says, I understand what you're saying, I agree with what you're saying, but you have to man the fuck up or we're gonna chapter you. You have to put up with her shit because she is a protected class in this world and we don't get to actually do or say anything to women in the Army. The only thing we can do when women are around is accept that white people have put in a position to use them against us whenever they see fit so that radical soldiers can be eliminated. That is the function of women in the military. If they don't think that you're in compliance with the system, they'll get rid of you. That's the function. That's the role of women in the military. That's why when you're trying to understand why things move the way they move or why
certain guys just kind of like disappear for no reason and you're not sure why? That's why. Because if they don't think that you're in compliance, see, you don't have to not be in compliance. They just have to think that you're not in compliance. If they think you're not in compliance, then they just get rid of you. If they can't get rid of you on any other way, then just use women against you. Because you can always promote a woman and tell her to lie and cheat for you, and she will. It's far easier for women to engage in corruption than it is for men. It's far easier. And the reason why is because women have been put on this earth to serve us. The problem with most women is that they're perfectly okay with being in compliance with immorality. They don't have a problem with being unethical, immoral, and engaging in illegal activities if it means that they can overcome the oppression that was put on them by the people that are asking them to do the wrong thing. Women can be in a perfectly content relationship like the one I'm in with my wife, but they don't want to be in compliance to good, because good doesn't get you anywhere in this life. They see the world, they see the evils, they see the atrocities, and they understand if I was just a little bit eviler, if I was just a little bit more disrespectful, if I was just a little bit more hateful, I would have more. They understand it. And what they want, the reason why women date bad men, that's what they want you to do. They want you to pretend like you're a good person and go out there and take like everybody else. But what these women don't understand is that's the problem with the world. That is a fundamental conflict. Because when white men say, Paul Emerson, I want to make a living designing video games and producing comic books. You know what my wife tells me all the time? It'll never happen. You're not good enough. It won't work. That's what my wife tells me all the time. Can't do it. Won't work. Can't happen. You're not smart enough. You need to go back to college. You're too dumb. You're illiterate. You don't know how to write. You don't know how to spell. These are the things that she mentions to me all the time because I want to start a company. And I told her all this stuff before we got married. We were friends on Facebook for 7 years. So she knows that my entire endeavor was to do this stuff. She just refuses to acknowledge that I have paid child support for 18 years of my daughter's life. My daughter is 19. I'm still paying child support. It still has not stopped. So, I don't know what else to do or say. Right? I don't know what else to do or say. It's not hard. Nothing about what we do in life is hard. But that's why we're where we're at. You know what white men said?
Target reached.
They said, I want to conquer the world and make it bow to who I am. And you know what white women said? If you put your mind to it, you probably can do it. And then you look around and you see what Europeans have done to the fucking world. And the only thing African women can do is continue to worship a God that doesn't fucking care about them. If God truly cared about you, he wouldn't have you in the position that you're in life. Because God isn't the reason why you're where you are. You're not where you are because of God. You're where you are because of nature and natural forces. The problem is that the politics of this world is broken. The politics are wrong. Life is not wrong. The world's not wrong. Politics is broken. And politics can be repaired. Politics, it is within our power as individual members of society to simply not be in compliance with a broken fucking system. But, like me and my uncle always say, the system's not broken. It's working the way it's supposed to work for the people that it is benefiting. And the way you know if you're benefiting is all you have to do is ask yourself, how many times a day am I hungry? How many times in one day am I hungry? And if the answer is more than one, system's not working for you. System's simply not working for you. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to keep fucking running. I'm going to keep moving toward what my goals are, what my aspirations are, what my ambitions are. And no one, not even my fucking wife, is standing in my goddamn way. I will blow this fucking planet up before I allow anyone to tell me that I cannot produce comic books and design video fucking games. I will continue to be a good, honest, decent person. The reason why you see a failure, if that's what you choose to see, is because I'm doing what I'm supposed to do in accordance to what principles that my biological father taught me. Because his opinion of me is more important than his opinion of himself. I care more about the things that my father has taught me than I do anything else in this world. I care more about the right things that my mother has taught me than I do anything else in this world. Because as long as I'm not contributing to the oppression of other people, as long as my influence isn't causing harm to others, then I'm doing what I should be doing in this world. And because every day I wake up consciously knowing that the bullshit that's going around isn't right, and I'm actively engaged in making sure I'm not contributing to that bullshit, I'm content with life. I will burn in the fucking fires of hell, because I don't fucking care. I don't give a damn. I don't understand why everybody else is too fucking stupid to see what's going on in the world around them. You don't like being treated a certain way. You don't like feeling a certain way. You don't like certain things. Why do you project that on others? And if you're doing it so that you can gain more out of life from a God, question yourself. Question yourself. If I walk up to you and say, here's $100, slap him, question me. Why can't you give me $100 without me having to hurt somebody else? Question me. Say no. It's not hard. There's absolutely nothing wrong with doing the right thing. Everything is fucking wrong with doing the wrong thing. That's the reason why I write stories. Because it's simple. It's not hard. It's not difficult. We've gotten this far. The mistake we make every day, since everybody has to make a mistake, since my wife has to judge me and be jury and executioner of me, I didn't marry her for that shit. I didn't say, I really need somebody to constantly point out my flaws, constantly take everything I do out of context, remind me that I'm not good enough and that I can't make it. I didn't ask for that shit. I'm perfectly content working 7 days a week to take care of my family. I'm living my life the way I want to live it. I make an honest living. I'm not hurting nobody. I'm not oppressing no one. My daughter's 18. She's as content as she can be based on the relationship that me and her mother has had. Half of what's wrong with my daughter's life is on her mother. I'll take responsibility for the other half. But at the end of the day, there's nothing more I can do. I'm quite content working 2 jobs, having enough money to provide for myself and afford the things I need to afford. What irritates the hell out of me is that my wife doesn't want to have the same level of respect for the things that I have because she knows I'm not a Christian. She shouldn't have married me if she wanted me to be a fucking Christian. She knew that I wasn't a Christian. She's always known because I say it all the goddamn time. Everybody knows that I'm not a fucking Christian. And I don't fucking care because I see what Christians do. Christians jump out of cars and rob people at gunpoint. Christians rape. Christians murder and pillage. Christians invented slavery. Christians are responsible for all the atrocities that is the history of humanity. All of them. Because remember, in their book, it's all because of their fucking God. So by their own definition, they are responsible for all this shit. All of it. Abraham's religion. All of it. My wife tells me all the time, oh, you're not competent. You don't know how to structure stories. Nobody knows. No, let me rephrase that. Because I sound like her. Because she likes to speak with infinitive. The average Christian, if you ask them, who is the main character of the Bible? Their response will be Jesus. Jesus or God. One of those two is the main character of the Bible. It's not the main character of the Bible. Because I was raised Christian. That's why. See, the reason why I judge Christianity so harshly is because I was raised Christian. The main character of the Christian Bible is Abraham. It's Abraham's religion. Abraham is the main character. The first vessel that God moved through was Abraham and all Abraham's descendants. So all Abraham's descendants, all the way up to Jesus Christ, is the way the Bible works. So the main character of the Bible is Abraham. So when people tell me, oh, you're not that smart, like, no, I am. That's the problem. The problem is that I am intelligent. When I was 19, my comprehension level was 14. I was reading and comprehending my grade level for comprehension when I was like 23 or 24 was 14. The reason why I remember this is because my spelling level when I was like 22 or 23. I forgot what test I took. But when I went, the reason I remember this number is because my spelling level at the time was 4th grade. And the first thing people want to do is say, you're stupid because you had a 4th grade spelling level. I had a 4th grade spelling level because I was never taught to spell in school. I was set up for failure. The average intelligence of an African American is a direct result of a dysfunctional education system. Like I said, the system's not broken. It's working perfectly fine for the people that it serves. The average African American is not receiving the same intelligence, the same academic teaching as everybody else. And because we are the people that we are, we still manage to educate ourselves despite being put in a deficient system. That's why affirmative action exists. Not because the government wants to perpetuate racism and discrimination. It's because they know that the education system is designed specifically to fail African Americans. Statistically, and so the way education works is this: 100% of students can't graduate, right? Remember No Child Left Behind? Statistically, 100% of students can't graduate. Somebody has to fail. So let's say 10% of the kids have to fail. So you have a room full of 100 kids and 10 of them have to fail. Why not just fail all the black kids? Right? Because statistically, 10% of the students should fail. In America, white people say that they're the majority, but when there are over, let's keep the number simple, when there are over 20 different ethnicities, right? If there's 20 ethnicities and you make it even, you have 100 students, then every ethnicity is going to have 5 representatives, right? So you can literally fail all 5 white kids and still have 95% of the class pass, right? But they're the majority, so they have to automatically pass. They have to automatically pass. So now you screwed it up. You screw the numbers, because now those 5 white kids that should have failed will pass, and now you have to drop 5 extra kids because you have to make sure they pass, right? So what did they do? They invented the bell curve. The bell curve was invented to ensure that we use the average intelligence of Caucasian kids as the starting point for the educational range. And then what do we do when African American kids are doing better than the Caucasian kids? We just adjust their tests until they fail. And the reason why I know this is true is because it's been done to me more than once. The reason why I don't like being in academic settings is because every time I do well, they just adjust the test. They just adjust the test. Just change the test. When I was in the Army, just change the test. When they realized that I was too strong to kick out, just change the test. That's all they would do. Just adjust it. Just adjust it. Every class, every test I took in the military, I would excel at it. And the only thing they would do is reject the notion that I had anything to contribute, because I was heavily discriminated against based on my age. So that's just the way life works. And unfortunately, no one seems to care except for me. But I've been ranting and raving long enough. I want to just finish walking, because like I said, when you run, whatever it is that you're dealing with, you stop dealing with that shit. And I don't want to, this is what I know will happen. 42 years of age, this is what I know will happen. My wife is not as intelligent as she thinks she is. She already has her plan on how she's going to do the same exact thing that my ex did. The only mistake my wife made that my ex didn't make was my wife actually married me. So the only thing she can do because we're married is destroy my character. That shit's counter-fucking-productive. It's counterproductive. Because I don't give a damn about my character. I don't fucking care what people think about me. I've never, ever, 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 ever cared what the world thinks or how the world feels. Because the only thing that drives me every day is being a decent person. When I went through existentialism when I was a kid and wondered what would happen if I died, the intelligence that I have, I'm gonna get there one day, so I might as well just live life. It doesn't matter what I do. I will die one day. So why not just spend this 100 years doing this so that whenever it is, wherever I go, when I get wherever it is I gotta go, I don't have to worry about what I didn't do when I had the 100 years. So now I'm in 42 of them. I'm at 42% of loading out of this fucking save screen. 42%. I'm almost done. My wife's just gonna waste my fucking time. That's what she wants to do. She wants to waste my time. My wife knows that if she whines and cries and complains and bitches and moans, she's gonna get what she wants as a woman, because that's what happens to little girls. When little girls fall down and hurt themselves, people run over, oh, what's wrong? Oh, let me help you. That's what we do to little girls. So little girls learn, oh, if I whine and complain, if I'm hurt, if I'm injured, if I'm in need, people will help me. My wife's not in need anymore because she has a husband that can take care of her. But the adversities that was put in place by Europeans in her fucking country are still directly affecting her. And because she has allianced herself to a white ass god instead of her African husband, she's still over there intellectually suffering. She's still over there dealing with bullshit. Because at the end of the day, no matter how much a woman gets, she can always get more if she bitches and moans. If she whines and complains, she can always get more. The reason why women complain is because that shit fucking works for them. It's not hard. It's not fucking hard. Why do kids cry? Babies cry, adults come running. Babies don't cry, adults don't come running. So it's the first principle. It's the first thing we learn. So society has created a condition that as long as women are not doing what they're supposed to do, and as long as they're making sure that black men like myself stay in fucking compliance, they get rewarded for it. And that's what my wife wants to do. She wants her reward for keeping me in check. And guess what? I don't fucking care. I don't give a damn. I did my fucking time. I spent 6 years in the army. You know why I was able to go to Nigeria and get married? Because I'm fucking honest. You know how difficult it is to get a visa, to get a passport and get a visa to go to another country? As an African American that grew up in fucking Detroit, you know how hard that is? You know how difficult it is? You know what kind of arrogance it takes to walk into Sergeant Major's office and tell him to give me leave so that I can go to Nigeria to meet this random ass Nigerian woman that I've never met because I want to marry her? You know the level of arrogance that is required to do that as a soldier in the United States Army? That's who the fuck I've always been. I just pretend to be this decent, kind, honest person. Because all I can do is pretend, because nobody believes that I am. No one believes that I'm a decent person. Nobody believes that I'm honest. We don't fucking care. That's why you wind up getting disrespected and mistreated, because you spend so much of your time suspicious of people that people that are suspicious have learned how to overcome your suspicion. People that want to take advantage of you know what they have to do to get close enough to you to take advantage of you, because you don't believe in good and honesty. You don't trust anything. You don't trust anyone. You don't know how to trust. So that's why we're where we're at. Today is the last fucking day that I waste my goddamn time entertaining my bitch of a wife. Because I'm sick of her shit. I'm sick of it. I'm sick and damn tired of supporting somebody and being treated like a fucking nigger in a goddamn system that doesn't fucking care about me when I'm trying to start a goddamn company specifically for that. Who the fuck's gonna take me seriously? I'm trying to, it's like Steve Harvey bullshit, right? I'm trying to teach you how to do all this stuff. And then in the background, my wife is like, you can't do this, you can't do that. Right? She's just waiting, Samson and Delilah. She's just waiting for me to ascend so she can grab me and snatch me down to the ground just so she can say, I told you fucking so. And then I'll be looking at her like, what did we gain from that? What did we gain
from you destroying my character and ruining my ability to make an honest living for myself? What did we achieve? You know what she's gonna do? She's gonna look me in the eyes and say, I'm sorry. Because when she does that, she believes that God blesses her. I call bullshit. God doesn't fucking care about us. Doesn't fucking care. 300 years of slavery proves God doesn't fucking care about Africans. We have to care about ourselves. I care enough about myself to do whatever the fuck I want to do, as long as I'm being honest and trustworthy and decent in a society that doesn't fucking care about me. Because that's what you're supposed to do. That's what it means to be a human animal on this planet. Give respect to people, whether they respect you or not. Because they're supposed to give you your fucking space. You don't have to respect me. Get the fuck out my way. And it's simple. If we stay out of each other's fucking way and help people that are doing things that we would like to help people do, there will be no adversities in this world. But that's not what's going on. Caucasian said, I need to have more than everybody else. The only way I can feel good about myself is everybody else has to be failing and I have to be succeeding. But nobody has asked them what is the definition of success and failure. So they write that shit themselves as they go.